From our Toronto studios, this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I'm Aylia Batool. The Gaza International Festival for Women's Cinema opened in Deir al-Balah, highlighting Palestinian women's resilience amid Israel's ongoing genocide. This and more on today's show, so stay tuned. Israel has killed 104 Palestinians, including 46 children, in what appears to be the deadliest violation of the ceasefire so far. Medical sources in Gaza say the attacks struck several areas across the enclave. The ceasefire agreement was signed in Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt by both Hamas and Israel. The civil defense is calling for an immediate and comprehensive ceasefire and urging the opening of humanitarian corridors to bring in fuel and rescue equipment. Palestinian journalist Muhammad al-Muniwari is also among the casualties from an airstrike on the Nusayrat refugee camp. Despite the heavy bombardment, Israel claims it has resumed enforcing the ceasefire. Hamas is accusing Israel of breaking the agreement and blaming the U.S. for backing Israeli aggression. Israel's genocide on Gaza has killed at least 68,527 people and wounded 170,395 since it began in October 2023. Local authorities say 256 journalists have died since the onset of genocide. In related news, world leaders are condemning Israel's latest bombardment of Gaza. European Commission Vice President Teresa Ribera is accusing Israel of genocide. Ribera says Europe needs a chance for peace, not excuses for new strikes. While Israel is violating the ceasefire agreement, the EU issued a misleading statement asking all parties to respect the truce. Germany is also urging Israel and Hamas to honor the agreement, while British Prime Minister Keir Starmer is calling Gaza's destruction unimaginable. He says abiding by the agreement is the only route to lasting peace. Turkey has condemned the attacks as a clear violation of the truce. It is expressing deep concern over civilian deaths and pledges solidarity with Palestinians. Trump is defending Israel, claiming it hit back after a soldier was attacked. He insists the ceasefire remains intact. Civil defense teams on Tuesday reburied 80 Palestinians in Deir al-Balah cemetery in central Gaza. Officials said the victims were killed in Israeli strikes 2 years ago and were buried hastily in streets and courtyards during heavy bombardment. Many of the bodies were retrieved from makeshift graves at hospitals, schools, and roadsides. Recovery efforts continue despite scarce equipment and destroyed infrastructure. The reburials come amid a fragile ceasefire between Israel and Hamas under a U.S.-brokered 20-point plan. Hamas so far has released 20 hostages and 17 bodies. Israeli officials said one of the bodies returned did not match their missing persons list. The Gaza International Festival for Women's Cinema opened Sunday in Deir al-Balah in the besieged Gaza Strip. The event spotlighted the suffering of Palestinian women amid Israel's 2-year assault on Gaza. It was organized with support from the Palestinian Ministry of Culture and several art institutions. The festival's opening film, The Voice of Hind Rajab, tells the tragic story of a 5-year-old girl killed with her family by Israeli fire in January 2024. The film earlier won the Silver Lion Grand Jury Prize at the Venice International Film Festival. Festival founder Adin Salah said the event was created to amplify women's voices through cinema and to train them to take part in international festivals. The festival coincides with Palestinian Women's National Day, celebrating women's resilience and their role in the national struggle. Pakistan-born commentator Asra Nomani has joined a familiar group of right-wing voices attacking Zohran Mamdani. Details coming up after the break.
name is Layla. I was an average kid until Zula Inc. broke into my life because my dad discovered time travel. After that, everything changed.
You're the new girl Layla, right?
Whoa! What if I don't fit in?
Abdullah!
Do I hear my name? Welcome to Vancouver, cuz.
Whoa!
You four have been specially chosen to take our project into the next generation.
You can time travel?
Abdullah! No! Abdullah! Where?
Do you really think I don't know why we had to leave Seattle, Mama?
Now here, keep these close. These should never leave your wrist.
This virtual reality game is crazy. You can even eat. This is reality, buddy. We zoomed through a wormhole.
Oh no, my Go Watch! It's gone!
What does this do?
That's Al-Khwarizmi. You know, the father of mathematics. It's because of him we have algorithms.
I will not stop until your legacy, everyone's legacy, lies in ruins. Of course it was you. You little rascals ruined everything.
Your fate will be great. Just don't give up.
Time Hoppers.
Welcome back. Jordan's King Abdullah II has warned world leaders will reject any U.S. plan that requires them to enforce peace in Gaza. In an interview with BBC Panorama, the monarch said nations would only support peacekeeping, not running around Gaza holding weapons. He says Jordan and Egypt could help train Palestinian police, but warns such efforts need time. U.S. President Donald Trump's 20-point peace plan says Arab and international partners would deploy stabilization forces to Gaza while Hamas disarms and relinquishes control. King Abdullah said Jordan would not send troops, citing the country's close political and humanitarian ties to Palestinians. Japan's new Prime Minister Sanai Takaichi will nominate U.S. President Donald Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize. The announcement was made yesterday by White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt while Trump was visiting Tokyo. It is unclear if the nomination is linked to any specific achievement. Takaichi is calling Trump a dynamic diplomat. Trump, on the other hand, says the U.S. is ready to wreck, sink, and blast any threat into oblivion. Several countries, including Cambodia, Armenia, Pakistan, and Israel, have nominated Trump for the award this year. The Nobel Committee has instead honored Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado for promoting democracy. Previously, former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe nominated Trump in 2019. U.S. President Donald Trump has claimed he personally stopped a war between India and Pakistan by threatening to cut trade ties with both countries. Speaking to business leaders in Japan, Trump said, "If you look at India and Pakistan, they were going at it. 7 brand new, beautiful planes were shot down." He said he told Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif that no trade would happen if you're going to be fighting. Trump said both sides halted fighting within 24 hours after his warning. The short but intense conflict in May erupted after an attack in Kashmir. Both nations exchanged airstrikes and artillery fire. Pakistan claimed it shot down several Indian fighter jets, which India has neither confirmed nor denied. The skirmish ended after a ceasefire announcement, which Trump said he helped broker. Bloomberg reported Modi skipped a regional summit in Malaysia to avoid meeting Trump. The news report said Modi feared Trump would again bring up Pakistan and repeat his claim of mediating the ceasefire.
7 planes were shot down. They're going at it, and they're really starting to go. And it's a big thing. These are 2 nuclear nations. And after literally 2 days, they called up and they said, "We understand," and they stopped fighting. How is that? Isn't that amazing? Now, 7 planes were shot down. You have to stop the war. And they stopped the war.
Pakistan-born commentator Asra Nomani has joined a familiar group of right-wing voices attacking Zohran Mamdani, the Democratic nominee for mayor of New York City. Her latest Fox News story claims Mamdani's rise was engineered by a network of Muslims and socialist groups funded by philanthropist George Soros. Nomani, who migrated from Karachi to the United States, has built her public profile by criticizing Islam and Muslims to gain attention in conservative media circles. She is a former Wall Street Journal reporter and has repeatedly appeared on media outlets promoting anti-Muslim talking points. She has earned sharp criticism from Muslim organizations, which label her work Islamophobic and misleading. Mamdani, who represents Queens in the New York State Assembly, is known for his grassroots activism on housing, healthcare, and immigrant rights. His campaign is supported by a diverse coalition of progressives and working-class voters. Analysts and civil rights advocates say Nomani's latest investigation fits a broader pattern of smearing Muslim public figures such as Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib. 25 Democratic attorney generals have sued the Trump administration for blocking food assistance during the ongoing government shutdown. The lawsuit has been filed in Massachusetts. It accuses the U.S. Department of Agriculture of illegally refusing to use emergency funds to sustain the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, also known as SNAP. Officials warn 42 million Americans could lose access to food benefits starting November 1st. North Carolina's Attorney General Jeff Jackson says he will not allow Trump to use hungry children as bargaining chips. Nevada Attorney General Aaron Ford calls the move deliberate and cruel. The USDA argues the emergency fund is meant for disasters like floods, not shutdowns. But state officials argue it has a legal duty to act. The shutdown, now in its 5th week, began after Congress failed to reach a funding deal. House Republicans say they will not bring a standalone bill to restore SNAP payments. The growing Latino Muslim community in Chicago is set to make history. The Ojalá Foundation has purchased a historic church to convert it into the first Latino-led mosque in the Midwest. The group is co-founded by Alma Campos, Wilma Lopez, and Imam Christopher Abdul Karim Pavlicic. It aims to create a space for worship, education, and community service. Campos is a Mexican-American Muslim and says the mosque will support converts and Latino Muslims seeking cultural and spiritual belonging. Programs will include Islamic education, Spanish language sermons, and community outreach. Pavlicic says the new mezquita will welcome everyone, irrespective of their background. The mosque is expected to open its doors later this year. Italy has pledged around $2.9 million to support Rohingya refugees in Bangladesh. The UN Refugee Agency says the fund will strengthen protection efforts, prevent gender-based violence, and improve child safety in the camps. The aid is provided through Italy's Ministry of Foreign Affairs and its Migration Directorate. UNHCR's representative in Bangladesh, Ivo Fridson, said the donation will meet urgent needs and protect refugees from growing risks. More than 1.16 million Rohingyas live in crowded camps in Cox's Bazar after fleeing Myanmar's military crackdown in 2017. About 150,000 more have arrived since 2024 amid renewed violence in Myanmar. Italy's support comes as global humanitarian funding continues to fall. It is forcing aid agencies to make difficult choices on what kind of basic needs they can still meet. That's all from our Toronto studios. Thank you for watching Muslim News. We are a community channel dedicated to bringing you stories you can trust. Please like, share, and subscribe to our content. You can also comment to let us know what you think of our coverage. You can donate now by visiting muslimnetwork.tv/donate. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV. Salam.